You know, Kingshuk, Saurabh, I can now feel how Harry Brook would have felt playing that T20 in Kolkata. Smoggy with no clear vision. That's exactly how we feel, coming into this episode of Sledging Room. 2 days after we recorded the last episode of Sledging Room. I don't know, as in like T20 cricket, does it give enough narratives for us to, deep dive into it, assess it and then talk, 40, 35 minutes after just two T20Is in the series. That's why we thought of, broadening the discussion points for this test series. Where Saurabh brought in Pakistan's test defeat at home. And also you brought out a very important point as to, is there a strain in relationship between the media and the cricketers? Like in the earlier days, we have heard stories about a lot of journalists, being very close to players, sharing lunch with them, inviting them home. We have seen many examples from our very own organization, from the Hindu, from the Times of India, people, forming a close bond with the likes of Sunil Gavaskar, Kapil Dev. Is that no more a thing, Saurabh, Kingshuk, these days? And why is that?
I mean, what are you trying to ask here?
As in, like, I'm asking, is there the strain in, as in the journalists and the players, are they no more intertwined like they were in the past?
But when were they intertwined in the past?
No, as in like,
even with when you're talking about these cricketers like Sunil Gavaskar, they are no more active professionals.
No, not now.
Yeah.
During their playing days, someone would have travelled with them to cover them throughout the.
Okay.
Someone can write. Imagine if I were a journalist in the 70s and the 80s, I travel with a player. I can easily write an autobiography, a full player profile about that player. But with the proliferation of so much of media, with the proliferation of almost every person who writes can own a website and become a news medium now. Social media's development has kind of closed the gap between player and the fans, which was essentially we have heard stories of how, at least in Chennai, we have heard stories of how people thronged the Hindu office to see the giant scoreboard there, to learn about the scores. Now, though, you have live scores, you watch the live streaming of matches. From there to here, why I'm asking that is if you can provide our viewers a little bit of context as to what happened between Pakistan captain Shan Masood and a journalist in Pakistan. We have always seen Pakistan journalists towing the line a lot. But Saurabh, you and I will both agree that whoever it is, however bad a team has played, a player has played, that's not the tone you should take with the player, right? Can you just explain that a little bit more?
Absolutely right. Because so what happened was Pakistan lost a test match to West Indies by 120 runs despite preparing a spin-friendly track. Now what happens is Pakistan lose the test match. Shan Masood goes to the press conference. He addresses the press conference and the reporter out of nowhere questions him that your team did not perform well. You as a captain, do you command any authority over the team or is it just the board who takes the decision? So basically he was trying to question the authority of Shan Masood. Then he says, okay, Shan Masood, आप जब कैप्टन बने थे तब आपने कुछ कहा था. You said something like you will have the say over the team selection. Then there were different foreign coaches who were fired. Then a Pakistani coach was brought in as an interim caretaker, Aqib Javed. Then you started preparing spin tracks. Now you are saying that spin-friendly tracks are going to be the way to go forward. But your team lost to West Indies. So what about your future? Will you take a call or will the PCB take a call? And this, I think, you should not ask any cricketer. Because you are actually now, as a journalist, your job is to ask questions, right? But you are not there to give your verdict, right? Shan Masood replying to the question, he first said, next question, please. Because he was not very, very happy when he heard that question. But the reporter forced him. He's like, nahi, mujhe jawab chahiye, aap jawab do. And then Shan Masood went on a rant. He said that, first of all, your question is disrespecting. Do not do that to Pakistan cricketers. Because we here are sitting as Pakistan cricketers. We do everything in our ability to win a test match or a cricket match for Pakistan. And whatever decision Pakistan cricket board makes, me as a captain, the head coach and all players, we agree to that. And that is where he said that do not draw the line, do not disrespect Pakistan players, because we represent our country and it sends a wrong message. And with this whatever happened right now, I personally believe that this is not the first time that a journalist has questioned Pakistan captain, whether it's Shan Mashood or whether in the past it was Babar Azam. Why will you question something like that?
Yeah.
Because if you ask me, if the way I have followed Pakistan cricket in last 4-5 years, it has never been just the captain's fault or the coach's fault. It is the whole administration that is at fault. You keep on changing the PCB chairmen, you keep on changing the captains, the coaches, and then when your team loses a test matches or loses a ODI or a series away or home, you just pull your gun and fire at the captain. No, it's not like that. It should never happen like that. I don't believe that this is right to question a captain like that. Yes, you can ask, what were the shortcomings of your team?
Yeah.
And he will answer. He said that our batting was not up to the mark, because when you are playing spin-friendly matches, we need to know how to play spin bowlers. But you should never toe the line, because he is, at the end of the day, he is the captain of your national cricket team, the most popular sport in your country. So he has an aura, a respect he commands. You should give him that.
I was listening to one of the podcasts, one of the BGT podcasts earlier this month, where one of the current journalists, a very senior journalist, spoke about how the distance between players and the media has, increased, has grown. So he was saying that in the earlier tours, in 2000s, 1990s, what would happen is that some journalists who knew how to cook food, they would take like their spices and their masala and stuff like that. For example, somebody might cook sambar rice and a player is really craving sambar rice. They would ask, Bhaiya, aapke paas thoda hai kya? So that would be a bonding session. So he was explaining that the last time this kind of thing happened with the Indian team, when Ravi Shastri was at the helm of affairs. So in 2021, when even when the Indian team was touring Australia, what would happen is that Ravi Shastri would go to a pub where this journalist and stuff, they're all together, right, in one city. And it's like a one common hangout for everyone. So Shastri would go there, sit there, and the journalists would have a free pass to talk to him. Everything might not reflect on the paper. For that matter, nothing might reflect on the paper, but a relationship would be there. So the journalist was arguing that in the recent times, over the last 2-3 years, that distance has lengthened because of the board. Because the board wants to project a certain kind of an image. Top senior players want to project a certain kind of an image. For me,
I think I don't think that it's as recent as 2021. As in 2021.
Those are not my words. That's what I heard.
Probably 2021 was a COVID series. We have to keep that in mind. I am not sure how many people went to pubs and had a social gathering there. But I think this probably had to do with what happened during the match fixing era also in the 2000s. What happened then? Like, there were a lot of issues surrounding the Indian cricket team when they wanted more privacy, wanted more control over it. That's what I feel. Probably it's...
This is the 2000, 1990 to
probably
transition
earlier,
you're talking about.
Probably earlier than, because we have heard stories saying that journalists inviting players to their friend's house to have food, and then if you go on overseas tours, unlike now, there are not all these Indian restaurants which were there in overseas countries, for example South Africa, West Indies, where finding an Indian cuisine will be very difficult. So probably at that time, but like I said at the start of the podcast, there's a little bit of trust issue also. If you see what has happened during the recent Border Gavaskar Trophy, what happened in the Indian dressing room. And I, once again, as in like a lot of people targeted the journalists who broke stories. But
that is their job,
but
right?
that's their job, right? If you have to question the dressing room leaks, you have to question people who are in the dressing room. As in, it's not the journalist's fault that he has reported something that he knew from the dressing room. Of course, verification of sources and all that is there. But I don't think... But at the end of the day, I just threw this point because, I thought from what Shan Masood said, at least the Indian media is not as, blunt and as unapologetic as the Pakistan media is towards its players. Like, can you ask Rohit Sharma that question after he loses a test series? It's instead the other way around. I still remember Ravi Shastri. Where is that reporter? Where is he now? After winning a test match, following a spate of defeats.
Even after that New Zealand series loss, the press con that Rohit attended, questions were not asked with intention to hurt.
Yeah.
The Shan Masood question, the way it was framed, it seems that not only are you calling him a puppet,
They did call him a
They
puppet.
did call him a puppet,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Not only are you calling him that, you're calling him incompetent.
Yeah.
You're calling him whatever, like stupid, whatever, questioning his form. Like, there is a way to ask a question. And I thought that in terms of Indian media, the questions are more nuanced once a series loss kind of happens.
As in, it's kind of a line between being a little more bold and being a little more nuanced.
And when you talk about Pakistan, you know what happens in Pakistan. I don't know how true is this, but what I have read on social media, I have listened to a lot of Pakistan experts, that every 6 or 8 months, a board president, board chairman changes. Okay, so he has a lobby of journalists. So the lobby of journalists then questions the interim, the men who are at the helm of affairs in Pakistan. Then the captain changes. The captain also has a lobby of journalists.
So are you hinting that Babar Azam has probably
I'm not saying Babar Azam.
got the reporter there to,
No, I'm not saying
sack
Babar
Shan
Azam.
Masood and
No,
return to
no,
captaincy?
absolutely not. I'm not saying Babar Azam. What I am saying is Pakistan has developed this culture where there are journalists who are on payrolls. For example, what I read, there are a few journalists in Pakistan who are reporting that the stadiums in Lahore and Karachi are ready for Champions Trophy. Fine. Then we have international reporters and different reporters in Pakistan itself who post pictures and videos saying, "Ye dekho, main aaj gaya tha." It's still not there.
Yeah.
So this is actually contrasting. Then there is someone who is actually showing that the PCB is doing work. There is someone who is questioning that is PCB really doing work.
Yeah.
So this is something which has happened in Pakistan. I remember last year, before the World Cup, when Babar Azam was addressing a press conference, there were a lot of questions which were asked with intent to hurt Babar Azam. He's like, "Aap to king hai cricket ke, kab jeetenge ek IC trophy?" I know there are PRs working for players, but still, you do not ask questions like this when your international team is going for a World Cup.
True.
And especially when it's going to a country where you have an arch enemy kind of thing, with India especially.
I think with Indian media, when Pakistan visited the World Cup, during the World Cup, they received a lot more love than what they currently receive at their own home grounds.
Exactly.
Right. Because I remember this thing with Shan Masood came up when they lost the Bangladesh series also.
Yeah.
Something very similar in terms of tone was spoken about. Like, what are you doing? You took over as a captain. Are you only the captain because you speak English?
And
things like that.
It is not just about the press. So I remember, like you pointed out, former PCB chairman and former Pakistan captain, Ramiz Aza. He was actually interviewing Shan Masood on the field after the game. And he had a very, very meaningful question. The question was, like, when your team has won something, will you not praise the captain? Will you not praise the team? He is asking a different question where he is saying that आपके batters तो perform नहीं कर रहे हैं. अभी आपका क्या कहना है इस पे? Why will you ask something like that? And everybody in Pakistan, including the other person who was sitting with Ramiz Aza, was really baffled by Ramiz Aza's question. So it's not just the journalists. There is lobby working everywhere in Pakistan.
No, like in terms of, like, since we are in the media, and there is a way to, like, not go gaga over a player.
Yeah.
And there is also a way to hold a player accountable. I think we tread that thin line where sometimes, like, not sometimes, a lot of times in the recent times, what people go over and they ask with intent to hurt.
I have one more point to make.
Yeah.
So my point is, yes, I have heard stories about journalists and cricketers being friends, but then I have listened to many cricketers who said that there was this article in this publication which hurt me then. And the articles, like Sidhu pointed out at our conclave, he said, I read that headline, wonderless, sixless Sidhu, flops again, something like that. Then Rahul Dravid, he said that I don't know how people frame these headlines, because when Rahul Dravid flopped in the series, there's like, India's wall cracks. So they were hurt with their questions. But those were publications and there were articles. They were not directed towards the players. It was more towards writing an article where you were questioning the players' performances, not to hurt the player personally.
I think when we're talking about media discourse, we need to also, remind that the fans' discourse also, as in, like, on social media. As I don't know. Like, if someone like Rahul Dravid says being on social media does more harm than good for players, then it's something that is very serious to look at. Talking about Rahul Dravid,
And it's not only just like, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. It's not just the fans. How many times have a fan's family members, their sisters, daughters, wives been threatened over a poor performance in a crunch game? I mean, why do we stoop so? There are people who are always stooping low, but I think at some point of time, like a stricter guideline should affirm for the fans also, to keep things in check. Like, just because Travis Head has hit 100 against India, that doesn't mean that you go to Travis Head's account and his wife's account and abuse the hell out of them. That's very cheap.
ICC came up with that social media protection policy for the World Cup, as in like last year. But you, how much can you filter social media? Like, if you have to just disable your comments, then that kind of takes away the engagement factor from your posts. So it's a very difficult, as in that's why I said leave alone social media, as in like you can't even trust the media these days. Like, so many cricketers or sports stars say that my quotes were not represented correctly. So these instances are also happening, right? So it's very difficult being a celebrity, a sporting celebrity, or celebrity for that matter. But I got the hook line, but you ruined it.
Oh,
Rahul Dravid say I wanted to get on to Gautam Gambhir, because we are running short of time. We need to discuss the T20 series, which we thought, Saurabh, as in like your headline was Battle of Davids. It's been a David versus Goliath battle only in this T20 series between India and England. Saurabh, for all that, if our listeners and viewers can go back and tune into 2024, for all the bashing that we did Bazball, we've got a chance to do that again, King Shuk. All that they did in Test cricket, in limited overs cricket, it seems to be an even bigger failure. Like, you're blaming the smog now for not playing Kolkata smog. And the irony is, Harry Brook is going to represent Delhi Capitals, which is not a very proud thing. Delhi is one of the most air polluted cities in the world. But yeah, so as in like, did you expect this kind of performance from England? As in like, coming in with a lot of hype, Joss Butler returning as captain, Brendan McCullum taking over the white ball sides. But the first two T20s have been like, a big, as in like, it's been the hype, it has not lived up hype, is what I was coming to say.
When I was writing the preview for the first T20, I remember having that chat with you. And I told you, but you guys, both of you, I think, you said, and I had only one doubt. At the moment I saw, okay, Brandon McCullum is the coach. This team can't win anything. Because always I have said this, that man, as good as a cricketer he's a flop coach. Absolute flop.
KKR?
Flop. Absolute flop. That guy cannot win anything as a coach. Because the only thing he has is, I will entertain the crowd. Go entertain the crowd. Your team won't win jack. Because you as a coach, you don't have any strategy. You don't improve your players. Do not. You just rely on individual brilliance, and then your motto is, okay, koi baat nahi, haar gaye, attack again, attack more. And this, what has been more baffling for me, there have been two matches right now. Both teams have had different plans, different bowling strategies. Like, England are fielding a pace bowling heavy unit, India are fielding a spin bowling heavy unit. And India have won both the T20Is. Second match was kind of a thriller, but first was an absolute walkover for India. And it all comes down to your batsmen's inability to play spin. They just throw their wickets.
Yeah.
Your team selection is questionable. I don't know how you select your teams. Because Jofra Archer, for all the speed he brings, the impact he has had, he gets smacked left and right. Mark Wood is a good bowler. Cars did good in the second T20I.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't see. Butler is the only man who's standing. Your batting unit is a flop. Harry Brook has to come out and say, okay, smog. There was a little bit of smog, so it's partly due to that we were not able to play spin.
Somebody said that in the second T20, the smell of sambar rattled Brook.
And then second T20I, again, Chakravarti rattles you, castles you. You are not able to understand what he's bowling.
Yeah.
Gavaskar takes a dig at you on the commentary. I mean,
I think for me, I'm reading this T20I series very differently than what he is.
Yeah.
For me, the simple thing is, the moment you have Brandon McCullum as coach, don't expect your team to win. Expect they will entertain, they will lose, and they will go back.
So one of the
I need to now understand how Kingshuk can defend this Bazball.
No, I'm not defending at all. Like, the batting's terrible. I mean, there is no defense to that batting. So the weird thing with Brendan McCullum is that he's fielding a batting unit that's supposed to take down spin, but the bowling unit is pace heavy. So I'm a little confused about that. Same on the same lines.
Yeah, barring Butler, who can read spin? when
Jacob
you
Bethel,
write?
Livingston, and supposedly now Brooks, since he has done a little bit in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what they have, right?
Yeah.
If not for Smog, he would have read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think it is also a transitioning team with completely different outlooks of the previous team and this one. So earlier, England were the basic philosophy was attack with the bat, defend with the ball. But here it seems that it's attack with the bat and attack with the ball as well.
And lose the match.
And lose the match, whatever the process is. So Jofra Archer was excellent in the Kolkata T20I, but when he brings those lines, when he brings that attacking bowling, you saw how brilliant Tilak Verma was while taking him down. So that's a risk that you always have to run.
Yeah.
So Brendan McCullum doesn't have a fix for that. Like 60 runs have gone from one side, but who are the other players who can keep that run in check? In second T20, I only saw Adil Rashid doing that.
Yeah.
And everybody else was attacking. So I think it's a philosophical change that Brendan McCullum brings, and it might take a very long time for this squad to settle in. जैसे वो बोलते हैं ना कि new coach brings the bounce. Like under new coach, something special happens. I don't think we are going to see that under McCullum.
No, my only problem is, even in Test cricket, like, yeah, you have the approach to entertain, you have the approach to be aggressive, but where is that little bit of thought? That is something, like we also discussed last year, that if Bazball comes with a little bit of thought, then it probably could be a revolutionary idea. But now, from the looks of it, it might be a forgotten idea in 2 years' time, in 1 year's time.
Thought means like nuanced approach with the bat, with the ball. What are you saying?
Keep the Kolkata T20I in mind. You were 17 for 2. And then Harry Brook stitches a partnership to take you to some 53 for 2 or something. Yes, you lose Harry Brook. It might happen. He has got you some 20-30 runs. And then Liam Livingston, such an experienced player, comes and swings wildly.
Swings
against
comes
Varun
down the
Chakravarti.
track. It's confusing.
Those kind of things are something that needs to be kept a check on. It's not, as in even in a T20I game, there are ebbs and flows. If you want to look at them, if you want to catch them, if you want to string a partnership, why not play 6 to 10 overs, take 30 runs? I'm not saying that score at 5 runs per over. Score at 7 runs per over. Get to some 70 for 3 at the end of 10 overs and then launch.
So one of the things that you rightly point out is that the partnership stitching is not happening. And I think that's because one of the things that I noticed was that earlier, under the coaching of, who was there for England? Somebody was
Matthew Mott.
Matthew Mott. So what would happen is that Butler would play that role. He would play that anchor role till 15 over and then try to unleash. Under McCullum, what's happened is that Butler wants to hit 2 boundaries in the first 6 balls of his innings.
Yeah.
That's a high-risk approach, right?
Get Joe Root into the T20I team.
Get Joe Root, yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
He's just hit 100 in SA20.
He's given you overs with the ball as well.
Yeah. As well.
And you know what? We are talking about England. Let's praise Gautam Gambhir.
Yeah.
Let's praise what he has done with his T20I team.
So, I talking about Gautam Gambhir, I just want to ask,
Yeah.
probably in the future, are we going to see Gautam Gambhir as only a white ball coach? From what I could see, that 16th over, 17th over during that chase of 160 odd in Chennai, he rushed out to the field and had a word with Tilak Verma. And Tilak Verma told later that Gautam Gambhir told me to just hang around till the end, no matter what the other person is doing. These are the kind of proactive things that we seldom saw in the Border Gavaskar Trophy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking, is Gautam Gambhir so good in T20Is that he's weighed down by the expectations in Test cricket? Probably we have to agree that Gautam Gambhir is not suited to Test cricket. Probably is good in T20Is. We haven't seen the ODI side of it. ODI also is a longer version of the game. We have to see how he does. In Sri Lanka, it was a 2-0 defeat in a 3-match series with 1 match getting tied. So I'm throwing this question to you. Is Gautam Gambhir, as in we have to credit him, yes, of course. But is he only going to be good for the white ball cricket in the future?
I have said it earlier also. Gautam Gambhir as a test coach, we have never seen Gautam Gambhir coaching a first class side. Have we? Never. We did not know what he will bring as a coach in red ball cricket. And his first 3 series, you win against Bangladesh and then you lose 2 series. First at home, then away in Australia. So your coaching will be questioned. Now, if you look at this T20I side, this team is winning. It looks like there is a plan in place for everything. Tilak Verma, for all we know, he played those 200, he scored 200s in South Africa. He attacked every ball. In this match, he knew when to attack, when to defend.
Yeah.
Fine, he did that. Now, this T20I side does not have a superstar who has a stature over or more than Gautam Gambhir.
So are you blaming Rohit Sharma for
I'm
Team
not
India's
blaming
failures?
anyone. I think, no, I'm not blaming anyone.
Yeah.
I am just saying
Or Virat Kohli for that
Gautam
matter.
Gambhir's inexperience as red ball coach and his inability to influence
To hold the dressing room, to be the alpha
because
alpha
I
in the
don't
dressing
think
room.
if Gautam Gambhir goes to the field and if he tells Rohit and Virat ki aise karna hai, they will say, okay, we are going to implement this, but we have other plans also. यहाँ पे a guy like Tilak Verma, he's like, okay coach, if you're saying this, we'll do this. So there is a difference. And then Gambhir is a successful T20I coach, so he has that confidence.
So by your logic, only Sir Vivian Richards can coach the test team which has Virat Kohli.
No.
Probably Virat Kohli will listen only
Rahul
to...
Dravid succeeded as a test coach. Kind of won everything that was at home.
Yeah.
Why? Because he had a better reputation and he had a better working relationship with Rohit Sharma, the captain. I don't think Gambhir and Rohit share that relationship.
But no disrespect to other teams.
And
or
Rohit Sharma
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma not scoring runs has also not helped it.
No, but no disrespect to the logic or the personalities involved. Then how did Matthew Mott find success with England? How did a Trevor Bayliss find success with England?
Again, I am saying this.
Is it only limited to India?
No, again, I am saying that it's not just about Rohit or Virat or Gambhir. It's a compilation of things. Like Gautam Gambhir's inexperience as red ball coach, fine. Then your inability to handle pressure when you go to Australia. And the worst thing about Gambhir in Australia was he never accepted things. He's like, okay, we are down 2-1, I will be happy. Had you asked me 20 days before this, I would have been happy. This is not how it works.
Kingship, technically speaking,
I am thinking when you said that he came down to Tilak Verma and said that just hang around. Why did he not do that for the entire test series when we were losing wickets in a bunch? Just come down randomly at drinks and say, just hang around, guys. We can do this. We can do this.
Hang around. That was the question.
And for a T20I, if I believe you don't have to plan in advance. Like Ravi Shastri had said, for a BGT he used to plan from February before IPL.
Yeah.
Gautam Gambhir did not get the time, and the time that he got, he did not use that time properly.
Yeah.
So it's not just Gautam Gambhir who has to be questioned, his coaching staff also. Because apart from Morkel, I don't see any player in that side, anyone in that coaching side who has succeeded in red ball cricket.
Yeah.
So there are questions, and I believe we need a different coach in red ball and different captain also. But this T20I side is giving us good reasons to believe Gambhir is a good limited overs coach.
I have 2 points.
But,
I have 2 points. If my ADHD does not kick in before that, I'll complete 2 points. Okay. So I don't agree with whatever you said. Because
you never agree with whatever I say.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point.
I think our listeners and viewers might have probably found understood the flow of this.
Yeah.
It comes from here. Saurabh says something. I don't agree with that. And then
it's like your right brain and your left brain functioning. They're at loggerheads.
Yeah.
कुछ एक हाथ ऐसे कर रहा है, एक हाथ ऐसे कर रहा है. Whatever that is.
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm eagerly waiting to see
So,
how you disprove.
Yeah,
Saurav's
absolutely.
saying. Yeah.
Okay, should I start by saying that I agree with one of his points?
You have made the claim.
ADHD is kicking in.
You have made the claim. Back it.
Made the claim. Yeah, fine. So in Test cricket, India did play the best side in the world, which was Australia in very tough conditions. I agree with what you're saying. That is that the inability to manage egos, such strong egos in the side, going up to them and saying, "Then listen, this is my plan. Enable it." They are saying, "Haha, we have played more than you. Calm down. Yeah. We are gonna take it."
They are saying we'll play Ashwin and Adler.
We will play Ashwin and Adler, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So like that creates a disharmony of sorts. And it's also a transitioning side which doesn't have an extremely strong bunch throughout their lineup. But with the T20I side, not only does he have the experience, he also has Gambhir. Gambhir have the experience of being with LSG and KKR.
No, even
he
his time as captain in KKR.
No. He also has Abhishek Nair by his side, who has worked with a lot of these young kids in the domestic format. Now, since he has been handed over the already transitioned side to the T20Is, and is
No, I
facing...
don't agree with that.
No, already transition मतलब क्या? सूर्या आपका कैप्टन है, रोहित विराट जडेजा आपका आउट है, तो आप वॉशिंगटन सुंदर को बैक कर रहे हो. की पोजीशंस में मेरे को बताओ कि पास्ट टीम से कौन कैरी ओवर कर रहा है. Like Surya also I'm not are like taking into account because he is also now shifting between
Probably
3-4,
we have to
3-4.
credit IPL there. You know, when you
That,
talk
that,
about
that, उसी पे आ रहा था.
when you talk about the, you know, you make it look like the transition already has happened.
Yeah.
But I think the transition is happening and it's very seamless.
And also who are the opponents that we are playing? We played a half cent South Africa. In South Africa we did brilliantly, but that also was not a Gambhir team. We have to talk about that. Then we are playing England, who are by all margins, their batting orders absolute like trash stuff.
You said I want to see Jacob Bethel. I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see Jacob Bethel, but again, he's a young player, first time exposure in India, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we have to keep that into account when we make that argument that Gambhir is a tremendous white ball coach and a trash red ball coach. So mere hisab se when we go to England now, which is also again an away tour. Rahul, how many away tours did Rahul Dravid complete? मेरे को बताओ.
That is what I'm saying. I was
Home
talking
में
about
खेला
home
ना
series. Yeah, at
Home
least
में
he did
खेला
not
ना.
lose a home series.
So
Gambhir lost a home series also.
so वो तो हारा है, वो तो that तो is now written in
And
stone.
3-0.
Written in stone. कुछ
Yeah,
नहीं कर सकते
exactly.
उसके बारे में. So my thing is that we can only tick off Gambhir from that position of red ball coach once the England tour happens and another home season that we see. Okay. My problem is that I think Gambhir is good in T20s solely because of the point that you mentioned, is that transition side आया जहाँ पे ego नहीं है. We can tell Tilak Verma कि listen, play out Adil Rashid. I don't care. Play out Adil Rashid. Don't go to swing Adil Rashid. And we will see what happens.
Then it eventually comes down to the superstar culture that we have been cribbing about, right? Like for instance, I'm asking Matthew Mott, Andrew McDonald, what as in like I'm no disrespect to them, but are they as big as Ricky Ponting? Are they as big as Pat Cummins, as Steve Smith? But don't they listen to their coaches? If you have brought in a coach who has to do your job, then you have to, so at least have that captain coach.
No. Yeah. Compare Gambhir Rohit to Langer Cummins, not with McDonald Cummins. Now let's figure out where did that relationship sour. They won Ashes also with that, right?
I think they won the T20 World Cup also under Langer.
Yeah. But
Australia tasted T20 success for the first time since they were denied by that Yuvraj 70-30.
And then they fired the coach.
Also, yeah. So also, like one of the important things that we have to look at there with that argument is that T20 World Cup 2021's के build-up से पहले under Langer's team, Ashton Agar was the preferred number 6, number 7. Suddenly, in T20 World Cup, when the rift apparently seems to start, Ashton Agar gets dropped, they bring in one extra batter, they win that World Cup. ठीक है? After that, they go to Ashes जीता, Langer is goodbye. I have never heard of a Australian or an England cricketer losing their coaching job after winning the Ashes.
True. But again, the superstar culture. Again, Pat Cummins versus Langer.
Again, I'm saying you, Pat Cummins succeeded with McDonald's because he is performing with the ball. And then, if I'm telling you again, the moment a captain is performing with the bat or the ball, his say increases.
Yeah.
It impacts your confidence, it impacts your performance, impacts everything.
Yeah. From the time Gambhir has been appointed, Rohit's form has been yeah, that's a very important point to note.
And I believe that Rohit is still out. He's still not come out from that sorrow mood where he was like, okay, Rahul Dravid was my work wife. Now I don't have my work wife. अब मैं क्या करूँगा? अब तो वड़ा पाव ही नहीं मिलेगा.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. And you see how Rohit Sharma has been, wherever he's going, he's influencing that team. Mumbai was not losing anywhere. Rohit Sharma comes in, they lose to Jammu Kashmir.
No, that's also because no. The fact there is that the Mumbai openers who were performing in and out in this season got replaced by Jaiswal and Rohit. Yeah. So that messed up the combination of the entire team.
So Rohit Sharma comes in, you lose. That's right.
That's a little too harsh to say.
No, that happened.
All this, wait till the Champions Trophy end. When he plays those selfless knocks at the top of the order.
But I have a very, very nightmarish thing about Champions Trophy. That this side, with whatever dressing room leaks we have had, I don't see this side winning the Champions Trophy.
But are you blaming it on, as in, are you saying that Gambhir looked bad in Test cricket because of Rohit Sharma?
No.
I'm again asking you that.
Again, I started my point by saying that Gambhir, We have never seen Gambhir coach a red ball side before he coached the Indian Test side. Where is that experience?
But I will agree with one point that Saurabh made.
Could we also
that because Rohit Sharma's confusion in the mind stems from the fact that he is going through a very lean patch.
Yeah.
Like we pointed out in a couple of episodes before, that Rohit has never had this lean patch since the time he came into this 2019 Test series. He was one of India's consistent performers in Test cricket, and I think that dip in form and that clout in the dressing room, when you're not scoring runs yourself, what will you probably go and tell a Virat Kohli who is fishing outside the off stump? That point I agree, but I don't agree to this point of Rohit coming and disturbing the balance everywhere. We will talk out of the Champions Trophy.
You saw what happened in BGT.
He has disagreed with the left side of his brain. So
Again, I'm saying you. Gambhir wins with Bumrah. Gambhir wins with Surya. Where does Gambhir not win? With Rohit Sharma.
But the argument also has to be a little more nuanced than that.
No, I am asking him the question. Are you blaming Rohit Sharma for that? He does not have the guts to agree
because Gambhir is also at fault.
But now you are saying...
No, I'm saying this.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Gambhir
Now explain that properly to our viewers.
Because Bumrah was not the captain. He was stand-in captain. And Bumrah is a man who...
So you're saying that combination as a combination, it's not working?
Yeah, because Rohit was not scoring runs. And then the ego management of Gambhir, when he's with Rohit, it's not working at all. It's just not working. I have to see, and we will have to see how it does in this Champions Trophy.
Before that, a 3-match ODI series.
Even in Sri Lanka, Sanaja Surya outwitted you, Gambhir.
Yeah.
And there your captain and your best batter of ODIs, who everybody is saying that he's a generational cricketer, he is Virat Kohli. They did not perform.
Yeah.
You know how Rohit Sharma's form dipped after that one particular ESPN tweet that how he's transforming the Indian cricket.
Yeah.
But
as a captain.
But to talk about Rohit Sharma's form, he altered his approach in T20I so much that at 37, probably switching back to red ball cricket and finding that rhythm is very difficult.
I'm again telling, Rohit Sharma was your best batter across format in the last 4-5 years.
Yeah.
Any format you take.
Better than Virat Kohli.
Exactly. No doubt about that. You can't compare Virat with this Rohit.
Yeah.
But his form has dipped. His confidence is low. Gambhir has not been able to manage the egos of the star players. And then he has never coached the red ball side. So there are a lot of factors at play.
Throwing a quick question, who can be a test coach for India? If you want different red ball coach for India.
You have tried Lakshman as your coach everywhere where Dravid did not go and Gambhir did not go. And he is a successful test cricketer. Try him.
Do you want Indian or non-Indian?
Your call. Bring back Jason Gillespie.
There is only one correct name.
Yeah,
McCullum.
Wait for it.
Brendan McCullum.
Yograj Singh.
Oh. Yeah.
He said it.
Oh my lord.
He said it that given a chance he would want to. Give it to him.
Everybody wants to coach Indian team.
Probably the iron hand that Indian team needs.
The iron hand does not know what to do, when to do, and what to speak when he has to speak. So you can't have that iron hand, sorry. Please shut this down.
Quickly before we go, Saurabh.
Yeah.
Yograj Singh, yay or nay?
Yes,
Comment below.
No, please no. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as in do you see England coming back in this T20I series? If so, how?
They can come back in this series. They have everything in that squad. They have bowlers, they have batters. The only thing is, they have to tell their coach, stop this bullshit of Bazball nonsense. We are playing in India.
Yeah.
Let us play according to situation.
Yeah.
And let us plan out things.
So basically,
Please
do what
down.
Rohit Sharma did in Australia.
No.
Butler should do that.
Again, I'm saying that. That.
Butler. So there were reports which said that playing 11s were handed out differently. One playing 11 was read out in the dressing room, and Rohit gave another playing 11 in the toss.
Because McCullum is one of the worst coaches you will ever have. As a cricketer, I love him, but as a coach, he is just vibes and entertainment, nothing else. And we have seen it. Where have England finished in WTC since McCullum became the coach? 3 times England have hosted WTC final. Have they played any WTC final? Are they going to play this time? No. Why? Because you're vibes, you're nothing else. You have a batter who is scoring the most number of runs in the calendar year.
Joe Root.
Yeah. You pushed out James Anderson. You literally pushed him out.
How long can he continue, Saurabh?
Oh, why can't he continue?
Is it
If he's picking
IPL?
wickets- if-
Mahi will say, I'll come back
If he's
this year.
picking up wickets for you in England, why can't he play? Give him that respect.
Yeah. But you want to face out a
England
37-year-old Rohit Sharma.
England can win this series if
Today
McCallum
has
goes on a
been-
holiday. McCallum goes on a holiday for next T20. I'm telling you.
Next 3 T20Is.
So I think like England doesn't have the squad depth to do this, number one.
Yeah.
Because first thing is that Ben Duckett cannot be your opener in T20Is. Ben Duckett?
Yeah.
What? What are you talking
Then you have
about?
not seen Ben Duckett bat in BBL. Ben Duckett wherever he has played T20 cricket.
Yeah.
So-
PSL.
So I like, yeah. So that's my argument that
Yeah.
that level and T20 level is much, much different.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to keep Ben Duckett. I'm going to open with Joss Butler and Phil Salt. And then I'm going to bring up
Rehan Ahmed.
Jacob Bethel.
Yeah.
Who is not fit
Apparently they have
Sickness.
some sickness or something
and
like
was
that.
beaten by Varun Chakravarti for 3 times in the same over.
Yes.
And I'll bring up Bethel and put Brook at 4, which will still keep my issue of squad strength, because then Jamie Smith will have to be inducted in the middle order and that will be very thin in terms of experience.
Okay.
So I still think that like the main reason England cannot do it this series is because the batting order does not have enough experience. But the only way that they can even stand a chance, जैसे एक दिन सब लोग click कर गया, that Duckett will have to be removed.
You know, I'm telling you again, in the second T20I, England has had the chance till the 19th over, 18th over, only because it was Joss Butler's mind playing at the helm of affairs. It was not Brendan McCullum. Butler tried everything in his year, but how could he win a match when he has the coach who is just vibes and entertainment?
Vibes and intent.
Nothing is. Brendan McCullum is just vibes and entertainment.
I just hope that it does not bite us back in the England
I'm telling you,
Test series.
they will win the series, this
Test
T20 series, if Brendan McCullum takes a holiday.
Saurabh ji will be writing a final prediction for India winning in England in Test series.
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. And we are definitely going to make him do that.
Yeah.
If Rohit is not the captain, we might win that also.
Why do you have caveats?
I again and again asked him this question.
Yeah.
Because
Is
Rohit
it a
Sharma,
problem?
Rohit Sharma as a Test cricketer, he's just not there now.
You know what we will do with you? Like घर से निकलते ही रोहित शर्मा के बारे में reply, कुछ दूर चलते ही रोहित शर्मा get out ऐसा करके.
When you both don't have points, you're saying these things.
You know, I didn't say anything. I agreed to that assessment that you made about Rohit's form. How it is affecting his
So
captain.
Kingshuk disagrees, then he agrees, and then he disagrees. That is what he does in the whole podcast. He has been doing that for last 2 years.
Yeah. As in, if someone can, like, I asked him not to write that 5-0 copy for that podcast.
Oh my
Like,
God.
he never listens to us. Yeah, that's
Kingshuk
it.
will qualify.
This is what possibly is happening between Gambhir and Rohit. एक चीज बोलता है दूसरा चीज करता है.
Out in the media, I come and say something else.
Yeah,
I dropped you dropped me. No, I dropped myself.
See, all of this makes for a beautiful, beautiful book like 5-10 years later. I hope some journalist is close to some guy in that Indian team so that this whole thing can come out.
Yeah, I would rather. Yeah, but the PGT has already hasn't. But yeah, we can, since we have discussed quite a lot of topics, quite a lot of, talking points, the T20I series prediction, and what makes Gambhir a good T20I coach, and what doesn't make him a good test coach, and whether Brendan McCullum is all about vibes and entertainment only, like Saurabh claims here. Like, he doesn't have any inputs to give to the players, or he just says, give me vibes and entertainment. That's probably the talking points that we need to get feedback from our viewers and listeners as well. If you have any comments or feedback, please send us on 8588 966 996. If you're listening to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast, please do rate us. And like we always say, if you're watching us on YouTube, please leave us a comment. We'll be more than happy to learn your feedback. Thank you. Have a great week.